All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is it. We are what T minus what is it 4:30? So we've got about 8 hours left until the start of election day. Not sure exactly when the polls are going to open up, but on election day. But if
6:30.
you is it 8:30?
6:30.
6:30. Okay, in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. So super happy you're all with us, and just kicking off the last rally here for us to get going here. My name is Michael Tucker. I'm a ex-Republican, I guess, or a real Republican, if you want to consider all the ways that Donald Trump has taken us down the wrong path for our party. And let's work to kind of get it back, send a message to them, and let's get Kamala Harris and Tim Walz into office here. I have been really fortunate to make a lot of new friends at the in the process of this cycle of cobbling all of us together who feel completely cast out or permanently barred, literally, if you will, from Donald Trump. And so this whole session is about introducing you to a bunch of them. Two of them are right here with me. We've had some other people that want to join us that will be joining us in today. And the other thing that I want to introduce you just right at the very beginning of this, and I need to put it into the chat here, is that we will be all joining the phone bank right now. It's the last day, so we'll talk a little bit, but talk is talk. We want to go out and actually do outreach after this to be able to reach all the other Republicans who are looking to be able to, who don't know that this exists, who don't know that, hey, you can join, you can vote for a Democrat and not be a Democrat, and still hold a lot of the conservative principles that we hold in place. So with that, let me introduce a couple of people to you here. I'll start with the person that is to my right. Looking at this is Scott Peoples. Scott, wave to the people. Tell them hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michael. As Michael, follow up on his comment about just the last few months, it's been so awesome getting to meet everyone in this Republicans for Harris coalition, and just know that there are so many patriots out there and like-minded individuals that grew up in a Republican Party that we believed in and believed in its values, and but noticed that what it's become under Donald Trump is complete opposite of what we signed up for. So just a little bit about myself and my story. Grew up in a Republican household, and what drew me to the Republican Party was I remember listening to Ronald Reagan speeches and George Bush speeches and John McCain speeches and getting the chills and all the feels about optimism about America's role in the world and what we can achieve when we elect leaders of integrity, and being a beacon of democracy, not only at home and supporting our institutions and the rule of law and the right to vote, but also abroad and supporting countries in our NATO alliance and other countries that are striving to become a democracy and look for us for leadership and examples. So that's definitely what drew me to the party. I did Army ROTC in college, and I graduated in 2009. So the first elections I voted for were for George Bush, and then I voted for John McCain in 2008, and had the really cool experience that although John McCain lost to President Obama, I got to go to President Obama's inauguration as part of a Army ROTC leadership program that I was in my senior year of college. And so I got to witness the peaceful transfer of power in person. And even though I didn't vote for President Obama, I was so proud to be there that day and witness that event, and just knew that he was a man of character, and that maybe there were some policies that he would enact that I wouldn't like, but I knew he was doing what was best in his heart for the country. So I served in the 82nd Airborne. That's what brought me out to North Carolina. I'm originally from San Diego, California, and went to UCLA for college, but served in the 82nd Airborne from 2009 to 2014, and got out as a captain, and met my wife while I was there, and now I have two small kids and work in the private sector, and my wife and I are small business owners now here in Raleigh, North Carolina. In 2016, I voted for John Kasich in the Republican primary here in North Carolina. And as of right now, that is the last Republican that I've voted for. I immediately did not like what I saw in Donald Trump, but I do kind of regret in 2016. I voted third party for Gary Johnson. I didn't think America would elect Donald Trump, but I wasn't really politically active at the time. And if I could go back in time and do what I'm doing now for Hillary Clinton, knowing what I know now about Donald Trump, I absolutely would. But in 2020, I decided to make a video for Republican voters against Trump, started by Sarah Longwell and Bill Kristol and Tim Miller, and had a couple of videos that went a little viral on the internet, and they asked me to be on billboards across the state of North Carolina saying I'm a Republican, I'm a veteran, I'm voting for Joe Biden. And luckily Joe Biden won in 2020 for our country and for the world. And then by those videos kind of being seen, I was reached out to by the Harris campaign here in the summer of 2024, and had some cool experiences. Got to meet Vice President Harris and be an opening speaker for her at a rally in Fayetteville a few months ago. And tonight, if anyone's in the Raleigh area, I will be the opening speaker for Governor Roy Cooper at the final Get Out the Vote rally with James Taylor in Sugar Land. And so I'll be leaving here in a few hours. After I'll be able to phone bank, and then
you're a superstar, Scott.
So awesome to be with you all, and it's been an honor, and let's go win this.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, guys, everybody that's attending this. So I just dropped a link into the broadcast and after this webinar, it'll automatically take you to the phone bank for the National Republican for Harris group. So understand there's a couple of different elements here where you're meeting with people across North Carolina specifically. Hey, if you're watching this and you're not from North Carolina, no problem at all. You can join the phone bank as well too. We need a lot of people that are coming in from all over the country to be able to help make sure that these 16 electoral votes in our state go to Kamala Harris, and that we draw a line in the sand and we stop the craziness that we're seeing and the madness that we're seeing from Donald Trump from going forward. Somebody else who has been instrumental and been involved in this movement that we've started here this year and has been just extraordinarily helpful in this has been Robert Brown. Rob has come in from a long history of being able to organize and being an activist here across conservative movements. So super happy to have you here, Rob, and thank you so much. Would love to kind of hear your story and a bit of background as well. And what part of the state are you from as well too?
Thanks a lot, Michael. I appreciate it. And Michael, you've really done a good job of putting together so many people that have similar viewpoints, advantages, and similar backgrounds that are now supporting the vice president in this particular election. And as of course Michael knows, I worked for Senator McCain in the 2008 cycle. I started off as just a North Carolina volunteer coordinator. I was kind of helping get people and point them to the right direction. And then I took a break from law school and I moved down to Tallahassee, Florida, and I served as the chief of staff for the Southeast Regional Office. We had 7 states in the Southeast that our office oversaw, and did everything from going to events and helping coordinate things with the advance team to putting together volunteers to distributing signs to getting coalitions together, getting leaders and events put together. And eventually when North Carolina became a concern during that cycle, the campaign decided to put me back in North Carolina, and I could serve the rest of that season as North Carolina state director for Senator McCain. Obviously at the time didn't get the result that we were hoping for. But we worked hard, and at the time I was in law school at Chapel Hill, not exactly the most conservative place in the state, but I had lots and lots of friends who were very liberal and had completely different viewpoints than I did. But we never yelled at each other. We never had any tense discussions. We had lots and lots of policy debates, and vehemently disagree with each other on lots of different things. But we're completely respectful and understood each other's positions, understood why people held those positions, and just had an honest disagreement. And I think that's really what's changed. In 2016, I made the decision not to vote for Mr. Trump, and that was the very first Democrat I'd ever voted for in my lifetime, and voted for Hillary Clinton. and I'm still very proud to have done so. And obviously wish we'd gotten a different result that time as well. And I've been slowly moving to the Democratic Party since then. Unfortunately, I think the better way to couch that is that the Republican Party has been moving away from me. But you look at the policies and stuff that we used to have in place. John McCain, of course, was widely considered a foreign policy hawk. I think it's pretty clear that he was absolutely right about the direction of Russia and Ukraine. And now we've got a Republican Party who's become complete isolationist and doesn't believe that the United States has a role to play on the international stage. And a lot, whether it's religious freedom or the role of government in everybody's lives, a lot of the same policies that I used to consider the most important foundations of the Republican Party are no longer things the Republican Party considers important. And we've really bent the knee and created fealty to one man like a cult. I think that's why it's so important. And I've been just really enlightened to meet so many people across the state who have a Republican or have a conservative background, who still hold a lot of those same positions, but understand kind of the stakes and what's really up for grabs right now with our democracy and the direction of our country, and have made the decision to support Kamala Harris. So again, I think in a lot of ways, as scary as this entire cycle has been, as absolutely nerve-wracking and anxious as I am right now and will be for the next however many hours, I do feel good to have met so many people who are willing to cross party lines to make a reasoned, rational decision and to vote for somebody that they may not agree with entirely, but understand that the important parts of maintaining a democracy, of being a decent human being, of putting the people in the country first, are worth going to the other side of the aisle. So, I live and work in High Point, North Carolina, just south of Greensboro, and so many anecdotes. I was playing pickleball with friends the other day and had this older couple come up to me because I was wearing a Republicans for Harris shirt, and they said, "Oh, we really agree with you." And I thought in the back of my head, did they just see the Republican thing, or did they see the for Harris thing? And I got off the court. They came up to me and said, "No, like we're absolutely supporting Harris, completely." We started talking more, and they were extremely well connected in the Republican Party. Used to hang out with Dick Cheney at one point, so not just random people that have a bent. Very, very involved in politics, and they were quick to say that they were absolutely supporting Kamala Harris this cycle. So I want to thank the folks that are on the call, and the other folks that, again, may consider themselves Republicans or former Republicans, but are sitting down and understanding what's really at stake at this election, and putting the time, effort, and energy to ensure that the next president of our country and the next leader of the free world has the right motivation to do the job.
That's great. Thank you so much. Listen, guys, we, for everybody who's watching this live, thank you so much for joining. We're going to be posting this on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page as well, too. I'm just trying to let you know. So if you reach us afterwards, if you're working right now and you're getting off of work this evening, sign in for the phone bank that you'll see on the link that's here. We'll have it posted on our website. We'll have it posted on our Facebook page. We'll have it posted on our YouTube channel just to get this phone bank going. The phone bank is run by the Republicans for Harris nationally, and that's being organized in cooperation with the Democratic Party. Crazy as that sounds, but the head of our organization nationally for the Republicans for Harris nationally is Adam Kinzinger's chief of staff. So you look at the people that are coming into this. Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan has been with us. One person that we really all want to call out, and he's not able to make it for this right now, is former North Carolina Supreme Court Justice Robert Orr, who has been sounding the alarm about Donald Trump since 2020, and is one of those people who, like me, I was a former technology chair of the Mecklenburg County Republican Party here in Charlotte. There's a lot of us who have served inside of the party in a lot of different ways, who understand exactly how dangerous some of the things that Donald Trump is talking about are. And somebody who is even outside of the state, who has been instrumental in building an organization even outside of North Carolina. We're just getting there, right, and trying to really turn kind of a a light purple state, or a light red state, into more of a purple state, into more of a state that kind of gives us a little bit more bipartisanship. And so somebody who has been instrumental doing that, and a group that's been instrumental doing that, has been Principles First, who are just strong allies and have been great friends to us and have helped us in our journey trying to pick out different areas of campaigning, of politics, of elections that we're just not as familiar with. And so I want to introduce you to Robert Benton. Robert, would love to kind of, you can give a better description about Principles First and about your role and your background as well too, and some of the things that you've been able to help contribute to some of the cause here, as an elections lawyer too, and just some of your professional background too, to fill in some of the gaps as we as Republicans who are looking to stand up for the principles within this state, try to do here in 2024 and also beyond in 2026 and 2028, and what that's going to look like going ahead.
Thanks, Michael. Well, I'm another Robert, so there are lots of us around, but I really appreciate what each of you have done yourselves. I just want to say that it's at the moment I live in Maryland, and there's not a lot of doubt who is going to win the state of Maryland, but it has been a long road for me as well to get to the point of voting for a Democrat for president, which I did for Joe Biden. Robert, I'm sorry to say I wrote in John Kasich the first time. You're ahead of me. Didn't actually vote for Clinton, and I'm still sorry I didn't do that. But one of the reasons that I didn't do that was because, as Michael has talked about, I worked inside the Republican Party infrastructure. I was a election lawyer for many years. We worked, as you may know, election lawyers work exclusively for Republicans or Democrats. And in that capacity, you feel a little trapped, to be honest with you. You don't really have the option of being true to yourself because that goes against your business interests and the business interests, frankly, of your colleagues. And it's tough. And so one of the things that was really great for me, first of all, I left the law firm, so I had a little bit more leeway. Still work for a nonprofit, so I had to get through that. But I met a group called Principles First. I've got my T-shirt on here. Guess you can't see it there, but we got our merch. And the amazing thing about Principles First, the amazing thing about this group, the people who are getting together in North Carolina, is sometimes as a Republican or former Republican, and you see what's going on in the party, you see the isolationism, kind of the abandonment, I'd say, of personal responsibility, of our leadership in the world, of sound capitalist economics, all these things. You keep saying, am I crazy? Am I the only one who's really seeing this? And the people at Principles First really allowed me to build a community, as the election and these groups are allowing other people to build a community to say, look, I'm not the only one. In fact, there are a lot of us who see the same thing. So in terms of Principles First, we have a conference every year. It keeps growing. It's the same weekend as CPAC. We are the counter programming, for the, I'll say it, the sane center right group. And, we'd really love to have each and every one of you attend the conference. It's really encouraging, if nothing else, to be around like-minded people. And it lets you build some more connections and find out what other people are doing. There are a lot of different issues being looked at after the election. Won't worry about any of that right now, but if you go to our website, Principles First, you can see it's happening in February here in DC, JW Marriott. Really, I really strongly encourage everyone who can to attend. It makes a big difference. And so just quickly, one little bit about my story. I grew up in West Texas. Interestingly enough, I grew up when Texas was literally almost all Democrat. So I'm a little older probably than the rest of you. But I was the same thing. I was turned on by Ronald Reagan, by all these folks who talked about these really important principles. And I was one of the first people around who was willing to say, hey, look, I'm a Republican. And this was back in the day where no one locally would run in a Republican primary. It was considered inappropriate, all of these things. And so I've watched the party especially in Texas, from its very beginning, start off with principles and really doing the right thing, being a minority, all the way to what it is now. And it's just unrecognizable to me. All these principles that I learned and I tried to emulate, I just don't even know where they've gone yet. You have some examples, like, and I'm a big Mitt Romney fan, others, John Kasich, but you see even people like Nikki Haley, who continues to kind of bow to the cult, if you will, the Trump mania. And I think it is also important to support as much as you can all the folks who are literally willing to take a stand. People who are in the Republican Party, people who are willing to say enough is enough, because it is not easy. We are all jumping off this cliff together, to say, we're cutting ties with what we used to have, and we're going to keep true to ourselves, if that means making something new. So, I'm all in today. My wife sent me a note today about a bus that's leaving from DC at 4 a.m. to go to North Carolina. So I'm still trying to figure out if I can do that. But we really have to run through the tape, and then take a really deep breath, and then think about what's next. For the principles that we all believe in. There'll be some work kind of holding a Harris administration, to many of the commitments they have made to the middle, and so in a good way. And I'm very excited about it. So I'll be one of the DCers. Principles First will be here, continuing to push this movement forward, and it's really great to help out all the folks in North Carolina. It's important it's important to have people who talk a little bit like me to be really on the board for Kamala Harris. So I'm loving every minute of it.
We're really grateful to have you, and then all the foundation that you guys have brought together. Actually, that's well before what we've been able to do here in these last 6 months or so. But we certainly stand in solidarity with you, kind of going forward here, guys. We're a couple of minutes away from the launch of the phone bank for the National Republicans for Harris. If you're seeing this and you haven't signed up for that phone bank yet, go ahead and do it. It starts at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's running till 7 p.m. Eastern in terms of the actual meeting. But if you see this and it's past 7 p.m., sign up for it anyway. That way it kind of flags that for the Republicans for Harris National people that you're involved here. One group I do want to flag as well too, a group that has been helping me, has been the Haley Voters for Harris. It's a working group. It's a super PAC. It's doing all sorts of work to be able to help bring in some of the mass media that we need across this state and the other Sun Belt states. As a lot of us are moving to this state, to North Carolina, we need groups like that to be able to help and support some of the values that we have. Those of us who voted for Nikki Haley and protested Donald Trump and have been permanently barred, it's been a wonderful resource that they're putting together, and that is built by long-term Republicans who have been active in the party for a long time here. One final thing I want to leave you all with, and then we're going to flip over to the National Republicans for Harris phone bank here. That event for 5 o'clock is this. Had a wonderful private meeting that I never would have been invited to normally, honestly, with a bunch of Democrats, and had the a private event for I think it was about 40 or 50 of us, actually, to meet with Governor Tim Walz, the future Vice President of the United States, just talking a little bit about where we're at. I walked in with a Republican for Harris shirt, and it's interesting, some of the conversations. They haven't been angry. Nobody's threatened to punch me out or any of the other things that I've gotten when I left the Republican Party. They've been with open arms and said, we're welcome. We want to welcome you. And so I'm going to share this final video with you guys, and we're going to just end off for a little bit here, and then jump over to the live stream from Republicans for Harris nationally. If you have questions about us, republicansforharrisnc.com, or email us at volunteers@republicansforharrisnc.com. We are not going anywhere after this cycle. We are, except for probably to the Principles First convention in the winter, and then to start organizing for 2026 and beyond, just to make sure that our principles as true conservatives, true Republicans, are going to stand the test of time, and we're also going to hold the MAGA group accountable accountable for the chaos that they've sown within our own party. So without that, let me just kick this off and actually just share this quick little clip actually that we had from Governor Walz.
Take on the chaos. You've got Republicans, Democrats, Independents. Kamala's made it clear everybody's welcome. Thank you so much.
Look, it's not a large share, but it is important to be able to understand they are welcoming us with open arms. Donald Trump won't even open out his arms to Nikki Haley when she's actually coming to him and saying that she wants to endorse him for, you know, the sheer fact that he's got the entire Republican Party by the throat. There's nobody else that can run within the Republican Party without kissing Donald Trump's ring, and that's unacceptable. So with that, I'm going to drop off here. Gentlemen, any last words that you want to share before we all head over to the phone bank?
Let's just push through, counting down the hours.
Absolutely. Call everyone left in your friends and family circle and get them out to the polls tomorrow if they haven't voted already.
All right.
There you go. Keep your foot on the gas till we see the checkered flag.
That's it, guys. All right, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you on the other end of this. And if you're in the Raleigh area, come see Scott jam out with James Taylor this afternoon in Charlotte. And if not, if you're around the Charlotte area, I've got a couple of watch parties that I'll be at, and we'll be handling national coverage on CBC News over the election evening. So looking forward to seeing you guys, and thanks again for joining us. Let's get on the phones and get out some Republican voters to help stop Donald Trump here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.